Hi everybody, well, it has arrived. The Renters Reform Act is now law. The first part of it comes into operation on the 27th of December, when most of us are having mince pies and goodness knows, and those lazy lot from the House of Commons, those MPs have voted this through, and not just, of course, Labour members of Parliament, but this Renters Bill was first thought up and pulled together by the Tory government. So you cannot believe that Tory government have really thrown 2.4 million landlords under the bus. People who would have voted Tory all their lives probably. It's a disgrace, and the Labour Party have managed to take all the work that Michael Gove had done on it, who was the Housing Secretary, and basically paste and copy it and push it through as law. So, you know, you can blame Labour for this as much as you want, but unfortunately it started and was going through under the Tory government, and the only party that are going to tear it up are the Reform Party. So when they get into power, or when we get into power, maybe for some of us. So here we go. Listen, they're trying to spin this and say that this helps landlords. Well, I've never heard such nonsense in all my life. It certainly does not help landlords one little bit. It helps tenants, of course, in many, many ways. So let's just go through it. As I said, the first part of the Act comes into law in December the 27th. The rest of it, we think, will come in spring next year. You know, that's about the right time, we believe. So the big thing to take away from this is they are abolishing Section 21, which of course is the Eviction Act. So they are taking that away and they're replacing it with Section 8. So Section 8, when you hear that, that's very, very important to landlords, because that's the only way you can get people out, is by serving Section 8. Now, there's only certain grounds in which you can get your tenants out. You have to give 4 months notice. If you wish to use the property yourself, if you're Rachel Reeves, of course, Rachel from accounts, she's going to need her home back soon, but she's got to give 4 months notice. And then, of course, if they don't move out in 4 months, most local authorities are advising they call them clients, by the way, which is unbelievable, tenants. But anyway, they're advising their clients to go to court, which could take anything up to a year to get them out. So it's a disgrace. So Rachel accounts, she might be living in a hotel for quite a long time when she gets sacked, probably quite soon, as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is quite funny really, because she's obviously voted for this nonsense to become law. So there you go. The other way you can do it is if you wish to sell the property. Thank goodness that is in there, because at one point it wasn't going to be in there. So if you wish to sell your property, you can get them out within 4 months notice. If you put the rent up, you can only do so once a year. And if it's considered excessive by the tenant, not by any expert, by the way, just the tenant, they can take you to court and get it reduced. Okay, so you can't suddenly put the rent up excessively in order perhaps to try and get them out, anything like that. You can't stop them having pets in the property anymore either. And we've all had, as landlords, no doubt, lots of people watching this have had situations where a pet has arrived at the home without you even knowing and destroyed things and made a mess in the garden and so on. Well, you're going to have to put up with that one way or the other. There's no discrimination either. If your potential tenants are on benefits, you can't then say we won't have you because you're on benefits, which you could have done before. If the judge thinks it's fair, the arrears can be held at 3 months. So, you know, don't think you can go to court because there's arrears of 6 weeks or something like that, because the judge will throw that out. So you can only put the rent up once a year, once every 12 months. And Section 13 is for the rent increase section. So you can only put it up once a year, and any increase is deferred for 2 months. This is to allow the tenant apparently time to pay find the extra money to pay the extra rent. Listen, there's a lot more on this, but if you go to the link I've put below, which is government website link, don't listen to anyone else. Go straight to the government link, because, you know, you hear it straight from the horse's mouth then, by the way. I'm going to do some more videos on this as the time goes by, I'm sure. So do subscribe, and don't forget my masterclass on the 24th and the 25th of November. I've got some spaces still for that at Canary Wharf for 2 days, and my books as well hopefully will be very useful. See you next time.